guys, this is Chelsea. Thank you for coming to my channel. This week's video is going to be about my experience being a vintage reseller and why I ended up stopping eventually. So first I started about 5 or 6 years ago when I came back from Leeds. I moved to Colorado Springs with my dad and I just wanted something to do basically just to fill the time. And I went to Goodwill bins one day and I found a couple of really cute swimsuits and I posted them on Depop. And I got on the Explore page pretty quickly, which was really exciting. And from there, I just kind of continued. Back then, it was really like community-based, I would say, for Depop. It was much more like contact with the customers, and I feel like it was much more of like a tight-knit community. And I got on the Explore page pretty quickly, like I said. But the Explore page, just for those who you don't know, is basically the front page of Depop. So they will push certain items or certain resellers, and it's just kind of an opportunity to get seen by more people. I also started thrifting because I just wanted to find my style. I wanted to like try different things out, and that's a lot easier to do when you're thrifting something that's $5 than, you know, paying for something that's maybe more out of your price range. So there's a little bit more freedom to figure out what your style is and what you like and don't like. So that really appealed to me. And also at that point in my life, I learned a lot about sustainability and how as of right now, like the world has enough clothing. We will not need any more clothing. Like there's just so much waste. And I really kind of took a dive deep into that. And I haven't really shopped in malls recently or online. Like I tend to buy most of my clothes thrifting, unless it's like undergarments, you know. But yeah, I really enjoyed the customer experience. I feel like I met a lot of cool people with really different styles. And I really enjoyed interacting with the customers a lot. And I really liked packaging. That's my favorite thing. Like I loved, you know, washing the item, folding it all nice and cute, having the handwritten note, putting some candy in there. Like that was my favorite part of the entire process. And I really enjoyed that. Also on Depop though, like quickly it kind of became a lot of lowball offers, which is understandable, you know, because you're buying something that's used, and I completely understand that. But I think a lot of people don't know that when you're reselling, there's a lot of costs that you don't think like would occur when you're just buying, right? So for example, when you're out looking for the items, you're going to like 5 different stores in one day. So that's a lot of gas. Depop takes a cut, PayPal takes a cut, and Depop pushes items that have free shipping. So that seller is paying for the shipping. So by the time you get to like what you're actually making from the item, you know, also you're subtracting what you pay for the item, right? So like there's a lot of costs that come in that people don't really think about, and by the end, like you're not really making a whole lot off of it. But I did it as a hobby. I wasn't going in there thinking I was gonna go full time and like this be my career, you know. There are people who are very successful with that, like Known Bad Boy or High Christian. Like they are very talented and they really do a lot of work to get their pieces up. Because when I first started, I was in the Springs and then I moved to Denver, and there's a lot of resellers in Colorado, so there's like not a whole lot to pick from by the time you get to the thrift stores. And like I said, you're going to 5 or 6 a day, so you might go to one in the morning, and then by the time you get to the one in the afternoon, the evening, there's like not a whole lot left there. So that was kind of difficult for me as well. And like on the Explore page, there's a lot of trends, so like you want to follow the trends, of course, to make sure that your pieces are selling and they're going out to people. But it's not always easy to line up the inventory that you find with the trends that you see on the Explore page. So I found that to be a little difficult as well. So I also did ThriftCon, and that's basically an IRL vintage market. It was started in Denver by 2 vintage resellers, and I really liked the in-person events. That's where I could like see my customers and I could see like what they bought, and I was like, oh yeah, you have this style. Like I could totally see you buying this piece, you know. Like it was just nice to have that interaction in person, and I really enjoyed that. When I first started going to ThriftCon though, there wasn't a whole lot of women. There was just mostly guys selling t-shirts, which I'm not hating on, you know, but there just wasn't a lot of women. So but it was kind of nice also because those who went to the guys' booths, like if they brought their partner and she was a woman or identified as a woman, she would come to my booth, and that was kind of nice too, to like have that sort of built-in customer sort of with another person. It's also kind of like a hit or miss. Like the most I ever made at ThriftCon was probably like $1,500, which is pretty good for me. But sometimes I would make like $80, you know. But it's really important to read like what people are also selling at these markets, because I went to one with my sister and I didn't really read it correctly, and I didn't realize it was mostly sneakers. So when you're looking for sneakers, you're not like usually looking for clothing too. Like it was basically all shoes, and it was just me selling clothing and then someone else selling artwork. So, you know, like just be on the lookout for that kind of thing too, to make sure that your item will actually sell at the places that you're going to be selling at. Okay, so we're getting into why I stopped. Realized like about maybe a year and a half ago that I wasn't really into it anymore. I didn't really enjoy going to the thrift stores. I didn't really enjoy looking for the items. I don't really think I like shopping for other people. I feel like there's just a lot of pressure. And a lot of the inventory I had was like very niche. People would just come and buy one item. I didn't have any repeat customers my full 6 years. So that's also something to look out for. Like I felt like a lot of my stuff was just one-off pieces that people liked. So I don't think that I really paid attention that much to like the overall curation of the pieces I was finding. I was just trying to find stuff that was vintage and that was made well. I did my research, you know, I tried to make sure that I found clothing brands that people actually liked and that were ethical. I tried to find like a lot of Trip NYC, for example, or like vintage Nike, vintage Champion, that sort of thing. And a lot of my pieces I felt were kind of like particular, and I don't think that I really thought about like the grand scheme of things and like I said, the overall curation of the things that I had. So that was also a downfall of mine. But really what kind of like put the nail in the coffin for me is that I had too much stuff. Like the inventory was insane. And people don't really mention that your items will stay in your basement or whatever for months or sometimes years at a time, just waiting for someone to come along and buy it. And I don't really enjoy having that much stuff. It was just overwhelming for me. It was nice on one hand because it was like an extension of my closet. I could go down and pick out things that I might not wear on like a day-to-day basis, so that was nice. But overall, it just became too much for me to have all that stuff in my life. But I did learn a lot. I learned just how important sustainability is to me. That's something that I think I'll carry through the rest of my life, just wanting to not make as big of an impact on the planet. I mean, that's not across the board, right? Like I still buy from Amazon and I'm not perfect by any means, but I just want to make sure that the money that I spend now is going toward like small businesses. And I'm totally fine paying someone on Depop who did all that work for me, you know, who found this perfect item that will fit me nicely and that's well made. Like I'm fine putting my money toward that, you know, and I'm like at peace with that. I'm not really interested in going to Goodwill directly anymore, so I'm more than fine paying someone who has done that work for me and paying them as opposed to paying Goodwill. Yeah, that is my experience being a vintage reseller. I hope that this helps someone if you're thinking about going into it. Just some things to look out for, things that you feel like you will endure and things that you don't want to put up with. Like just, you know, balance it and figure out what's best for you. But thank you for stopping by, and next week's video will be my monthly media wrap-up, and because this is Women's History Month, I will just be focusing on reviewing movies that are directed by women, so that's something to look forward to as well if you're into that. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!